Okay, as I was saying, the quick exchange that follows contrasts Romeo's desperation with Juliet's pretended coyness as they continue to disguise their passionate desires in religious imagery. This is my point here. My point is that even as they continue to use religious imagery to code their love, you can see a contrast between Romeo being desperate and Juliet being measured. She wants it also, but she's being careful, right? By imploring Juliet to let his lips do what hands do, this is my evidence. Romeo appears to have understood Juliet's need for convincing, and, like the hopeless romantic that he is, he believes a kiss is the only way to show how deeply he is in love with her. This is my analysis of the language. And this here is my lead in to that evidence. So what I'm saying here is that Romeo understood that Juliet just wants a little more convincing, and he felt that the way to convince her is to beg her more, to allow her to kiss, to allow him to kiss her, right? So he understood that what she wants is just a little bit more convincing, and that was what he continued to do because he's a hopeless romantic. Juliet, on the other hand, Juliet continues to show that she is the more clever of the two by allowing Romeo to kiss her without showing any outward desperation when she says, "Saints do not move when grant for prayer's sake." This is my evidence, and you will notice that my analysis came before the evidence. That's also very possible. As far as you are making grammatic and logical sense, your evidence and an analysis can come in any order. This one should be in pink, sorry. Now, further analysis. She has fully embraced Romeo's portrayal of her as a saint and feels empowered enough to grant him his prayers. But by refusing to make any move, she maintains some level of modesty society expects of her. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that Juliet, has become the more powerful one in the relationship. Romeo has made her appear divine. He's the one that elevated her to that level, but now she has accepted it. She has, she has received that power, and now she feels like she's powerful enough to allow him to kiss her. So the power is in her hands now, right? So she was able to carefully balance it by saying, "Okay, I will just stand here. You kiss me." She didn't move, so she's not the desperate one. She's not the one trying to show too much passion, right? She wants it, right? But she still has to be modest. She still has to appear as if she understands that society will frown upon her if she outwardly shows any serious undue passion. That's the point I'm making here, and that's my own informed personal response. So I'll put that in gray, right? So at this point it becomes clear that Shakespeare has been building up a sonnet using their poetic language and sentimental imagery, which culminates in a kiss. Again, my point. This clever connection between form and content strengthens the idea that their connection is truly divine, as sonnets are mostly known to be used to express feelings and thoughts about love. This here is my analysis that shows writer's intention, and that should be in red, not red. this color. So it should be in red. Sorry for mixing up the colors. Yes, this is also buttressed by how committed Juliet has become to their shared passion. She extracts a second kiss from Romeo by suggesting that he has transferred his sin to her and needs to take it back. This not only shows how irreverently ironic their use of religious imagery has been all along, but proves that she is just as desperate for physical intimacy as Romeo was. Let me try and break this one down for you guys. So I've made a point here that this connection is supported by the fact that Juliet too has become committed to that passion. She has gone all in also, and this is my evidence here. She gets Romeo to kiss her again a second time. Right? And what does this show? It shows that all the while that they were just trying to, use religious imagery, they were both lying to themselves, they were both pretending. Right? It is irreverently ironic. I would like you guys to check what the word irreverent means, if you don't know. So please check it. So it means that all the while they were just being irreverent. They were just using religion. They were turning religion on its head, right? And it also shows that Juliet is also desperate for physical intimacy. So even though she was trying to hide it all the while, at this point she is all in. But by telling him that, okay, you've transferred your sin onto me, take it back with another kiss. She's asking for a second kiss. You understand? So that means that at this point she's also fully, she's also all in. Right? So she's no more pretending at that point. So this is analysis. Now my final point. Shakespeare has cleverly foreshadowed the role that both characters will play in the development and inevitably tragic end of their relationship. This again is my point. Romeo remains that hot-blooded romantic that we see here throughout the play. He is so consumed by passion that he is completely oblivious to the fact that Tybalt is plotting violence against him, and that he is about to set off a series of events that will lead to his demise. Now, if you've read the book, you know that just before Romeo saw Juliet, or just before Romeo approached Juliet, Tybalt went to Capulet and told him that, oh, I've seen Romeo here, the son of the Montagues, and I'm going to kill him. And Capulet had to beg him or even command him to stop. So I'm showing that I'm aware of context now, right? But Romeo does not even know. He's just there, confessing love to someone that he just saw. He didn't know that he was in serious danger, right? And that's the same Romeo that we see almost throughout the play. He just does what he wants to do. He doesn't care what the consequences will be, right? So that's the evidence I'm trying to, or my analysis here. That's what it means, and my evidence is from the text as a whole. So I'll put that in gray. Juliet, on the other hand, is the young innocent lady who has to carefully consider the social implications of getting intimate with a desperately smitten stranger. She is faced with even more difficult decisions later in the play, as her relationship with Romeo puts her in a position where she has to choose between him and her family. So again, I'm trying to link this extract to the rest of the play, right? So Juliet plays a different role. Juliet plays a different role from Romeo. Romeo is just hot-blooded, passionate, and everything, but she has to be more considerate. She has to be more calculated. She has to consider, choosing between two difficult situations. Firstly, Romeo, is trying to kiss her, and then she has to be careful to be sure that she won't get into trouble. Secondly, Romeo killed her cousin, so she has to choose whether she should continue to love Romeo or avenge him avenge our cousin. Sorry, is that okay? So that's the point I've made in here. So I'll put that in gray also. So as you can see, I can connect this extract to the play as a whole. I'm seeing connections between the way they are behaving now and the way they will behave later. Right. So, and you can see that this connection does not come until like my final point. So I'm using this final point to link to the rest of, or to the extract. I'm using it to link this extract to the rest of the play. Is that okay? So now my conclusion, which is simply meant to re-emphasize my thesis. Shakespeare presents the relationship between the two as based on irreverent passion. In my intro, I only said passion, but I've shown you that this passion is irreverent, so I can introduce it here now. That threatens the very fabric of religion and society, and which was destined for tragedy because of their lack of, or at least Romeo's lack of, self-awareness. So I'm being careful not to group them together, not to paint them with the same brush, because there are some differences. Even though they are both passionate, they are both fully in love, Juliet is still more careful than Romeo. Romeo is just blinded by his passion, he's just a costly lover that just wants to love. But Juliet wants to love also, but she has to be more careful than he is. So even though they are both, lacking self-awareness, they are both passionate, they are both irreverently passionate, Romeo is the worst out of the two of them. Juliet is still more careful. So that's the point I've made in that conclusion. And as you can see, my conclusion, basically derives from the point I've made in the rest of the essay. So I will also send you guys this essay so that you can, read it closely and see how I achieved my purpose. I've been able to show what Shakespeare is trying to do and how he does it. I've been able to take the text and analyze it carefully, step by step, word by word. I've been able to supply evidence. I've been able to, show what that evidence implies. I didn't simply rewrite the words, in simpler language. I actually said what it connotes, what it means. Right. So you guys don't need to rewrite the essay, like I said. All you need to do is prepare for your test on Thursday. Study your text very closely. Focus on Act 2. I'm prepared to write something as good or even better than this for me in your test. Best of luck.